What's going on, guys? Bingo here. I'm with the Duel Factory for episode 23 of X-2 Drop, our weekly Yu-Gi-Oh podcast that we do, talking about anything that happened this week or shit we just feel like talking about. And this week we had a pretty big event for a lot of people, which is the 2019 World Championship. And it was a pretty cool event to watch. Obviously, nobody really gets to go to it, but we did have the opportunity to play in the World Championship Series events at OTS stores, which both me and the Duel Factory went to, and we'll talk about that. But, Joe, how do you think the World Championship went?
So my opinion never changes on the the World Championship qualifier. Not it's not World Championship qualifier, the actual World Championship. It's a make believe format, so I mean it's whatever. But in terms of like actual like deck innovation and stuff like that, some of the stuff I saw was really cool. I think one of the things you mentioned is the assurgence of triple mind control. The card's insane.
Yeah.
There was a lot more thunder represented apparently than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, that was mostly from U.S. players, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, even with one Colossus, they were still playing it because I mean, like the deck still combos. Like I said, I slept through most of it, but was Sky Striker even represented at all there or no?
Yeah, I believe Sky Striker made top 8, either top 8 or top 4, because obviously they didn't stream every match because of all the events going on. But I know one combo deck, which is like the Crusadia Thunder, made it to top 4, and 2 salads.
Yeah. Cody Angelov, the only U.S. player to make top 4, and he got beat up, unfortunately.
Yeah. So what Joe was saying earlier is the world is a make-believe format. There's so many tech choices and deck-building calls that you wouldn't make going into YCS with 13 rounds because you're playing with the highest caliber of player. So you just make a metagame call. That's why, like, what is it, 2012, 2013, Exodia, like, got top 16?
I think it was either 2011 or 2012 where Jarrell Pro Winston, whoever remembers him, he went to Worlds and he's like, fuck it, I'm going to play Exodia. And he made top.
Yeah, and we bring that up because you can see in especially the top 2, the finalists, they were playing very few hand traps. I believe one list was just playing Phantasme and Ash, and they were also like maining mind control and doing a lot of weird stuff that you wouldn't do in a traditional Salamangreat deck. That's because the format was so specific. Like, you knew you were going to play one of 3 or 4 decks.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, so, like, Worlds, like you were saying, it's not like you're going to a 13-round event. The first Worlds is actually so when I went back in Orlando, what I remember of it, it was like a 6-round tournament. So it was just like a really, really glorified locals that has their own list because you have to play a combination of the 2 lists because our set releases are also different from the OCGs and theirs, vice versa. And then we have cards that they don't have and so on and so on. So you have to make a combined list. So that's why I call it a make-believe format. But like I said, it's 6 rounds of a glorified locals, and usually there's like 2 like 4-runner decks at every Worlds. Like this year, like to me, I thought it was Sky Striker Salamangreat, right? Because those were the most consistent decks that we had available.
I still think those were the top 2 decks. It's just everyone was when they're going into this event. It's like, who can counterplay the counterplay? Like, there's so much thought going into just deck choice alone that sometimes the best deck isn't the most represented, or the most likely deck isn't most represented because that's what everybody thinks, and then everybody counters that, and it's just like this weird like pre-mind game to the event even starting.
Exactly. And then like there's always going to be something off the wall that shows up at Worlds. It always happens. You just don't know who's playing it. But usually people will do that to play decks that can beat the other decks. To me, I feel like the off-the-wall was like the Thunder deck, because I didn't think anyone was going to play it with one Colossus.
Yeah, no. So before we talk about the decks anymore, some of the notable things that you weren't allowed to play, Colossus and Hawk are both at 1. You can't play any of the Dangers. Ash Blossom's at 2. Pankratops was at 2. Circle's at 3 for Salamangreat. Gazelle's at 1. Sky Striker multi-roll is at 3, Engage is at 2, and Widow Anchor's at 2, and Multi-Figure's at 1. I think those were the
those are the really big notables.
Yeah.
Another notable that I feel like went under the radar, for those of you who didn't know, Bardiche was legal for this event.
Yes, but Mermaid was banned.
Mermaid was Mantis. They don't really play Orcus, but I honestly thought you might saw maybe some sort of Goki strategy pop up out of nowhere.
I thought like maybe a Pendulum. Oh wait, they have Chrono at 1 and
Yeah, all the good good turbo cards are.
yeah, Dark Worms at 1. Yeah, so Pendulum was kind of hard to play.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean,
yeah, like we were saying, you were talking about Thunder being a like surprise deck.
to me, yeah, that would have been the surprise deck because like that's bold to play with one Colossus because I know over here playing TCG because I'm the dedicated Thunder player of our group. A lot of your combos you'll go through 2 Colossus because you need the extra level 8 to make a rank 8 play. So I mean like. And it doesn't seem that big of a deal, but that's actually a huge hindrance not having access to that second card. Plus, a lot of them, I think, opted to play the Sekis build, so you're not playing cards like Thunder Dragon Fusion to recycle your Colossus or anything like that. So, I mean, kudos to them. They made it work, but I mean, to me, that was a bold decision.
Yeah, I just thought since the absence of the dangers and Colossus being at 1, like, yeah, like there's enough extenders, but they were so I watched, I think it was round 3 or 4, where dude got hand trapped on his Magius and just passed.
Yeah, that's what would make me nervous play because you don't have the benefit of those extenders. Like it's just. I shouldn't say not the benefit of having extenders, the benefit of having the most generic extenders that just make
the right ones to
Exactly.
fix the, because you know people, you can always expect one hand trap, like regardless, and it's just weird choke point. But so the winner was Salamangreat, a Japan player. I can't remember his name, but it was a Salad Mirror in the finals. And that deck is still the only difference between that deck and what we have legal for play is Circle, right?
Circles.
So that's super interesting, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird for TC. Am I honestly because that's what I played this weekend for the World Celebration. I played Salamangreat, and I'm not gonna lie to you, the deck's still really potent. Like, yeah, our format only has. Okay, so technically we have 6 copies of Gazelle. I personally think we only have 5 because let's be real here, Lady Debug's never resolving, so you can't count that.
Yeah.
But in Worlds format, you had 8. Now we're gonna have 6. I mean, that's still like a big number of Gazelles in your deck. And then, like you were saying over there for the Worlds, the mirror match, the first place the guy's deck profile, his was actually wild. Because I personally thought Flame Buffalo just wasn't worth playing. Because I thought the deck was good enough without it. But, I mean, he was playing Flame Buffalo, it looked like. You're saying he was main decking triple Mind Control.
Yep.
Like, that card's, like, people just completely sleep on that card. That card, it's insane to me, that card.
Especially in the mirror. And that was a big thing. It was either just over or just under half of the field was Salamangreat. And maining that card in that deck and getting paired with the mirror over and over again put him at such a huge advantage.
Yeah, like, you can just take his cards and you can use them to start your combos or like.
You have so many lines of play that you can do.
Yeah, like being able, like it's a powerful effect. Like because I had to do this in one of my matches. Like I didn't have mind control, I used Borreload, but I played a mirror and my opponent had a Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. And I needed to add back a card. I just made Borreload, took his, and then I had my own card back. And then, like, that's a huge play. So imagine not having to make the Borreload, like, let's just skip all the steps. And you're going second against a board that, is a Salamangreat board, and you just mind control them. Like,
yeah, it's, I remember when mind control first came off the list in Zoo format, and it was like the same concept, right? If you draw it, you force their hand. Like they have to either negate it or you just get to play for free because you just start overlaying your cards on top of theirs. It's kind of the same thing because, I mean, you have access to Sanctuary basically whenever you want, and you can get those additional effects. And it's just, I mean, good job on him. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's broken. Like, if he gets to go first,
I did think he was going to get bodied because his opening hand was just like nothing. Game 1, he banished his Gazelle off Desires. He banished his I think he banished his Sanctuary off Desires. It was just rough, but he got there somehow.
Hey, when you get there, man, you get there. That's a brave dude. I didn't see that in his list. I didn't realize he's playing Desires of One Gazelle. I couldn't take the risk.
Yeah. But, I mean, he opened a double mind control into a board, so it was fine.
Easy.
All right. But me and Joe did play the World Championship Series at our locals. And like he said, he took Salamangreat. I took Sky Striker. And I thought the event was super fun. Like, honestly. There was so much more turnout because, for those of you that don't know, you get this sweet envelope as the prize. If you win, it's got the World's promos in it. So it's actually like worth something. You're not just playing for 6 packs so you don't get anything out of. So
Exactly.
there was there had to be 30 plus people there.
There's at least 30, yeah.
So we had a 6-round event total.
It was 5. It was 5.
Was that including the finals?
Yeah, because we played 4 rounds of Swiss, and then me and BLT played the final round.
So 5-round event, and I just had a blast. I was satisfied with the list. Let me pull those up real quick. How did you think it went?
Me personally, I liked it a lot. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of like the World Celebration events, but I mean, like, I think this time going around, especially since like your deck choices were not as limited as I thought they were last year, because to me there was only 2 playable decks last year. But I mean, I thought it was really good. You saw a lot of diversity at our locals. Like there were Cyber Dragon players, there was Sky Striker players, there was a ton of Salamangreat players. There was the Thunder player that I was almost positive he would finally hang the deck up, but no, he didn't do it. It was just, like I said, it's a change in pace too. Like you're not just playing like a regular standard stuff, and like I said, you're actually gonna play for something that's like really cool prize support for an event like that. So
yeah, so my final standing was X1 and Joe. Well, so only the finalists played the last round. So I was X1 and you were X1, but he played an extra round than me because he.
No, I was XO.
Oh, you beat what's his face?
Hmm.
You beat what's his name?
Josh.
Yeah.
No, so technically, okay. So through 4 rounds, I was undefeated, and then me and him played the final round.
Yeah.
That's when I lost.
So he took second. I took third, or I was X1, whatever they placed me at. He played Salad. I got his list pulled up right here, which I didn't actually look at any of the actual Worlds list, so I don't know how it compares. But
the only one I've looked at is the first place one, and his build's like drastically different from mine.
Yeah, you said he was playing 3 Roar.
Yeah, he was playing 3 Salamangreat Roar, which I thought that was really unnecessary. But I mean, hey, look, I don't understand the man's thinking and stuff like that, but I do know he won the event, so he had to be doing something right.
Yeah, I know. They interviewed him, and they said, because they asked him, his deck has a lot more Salamangreat cards, and it was so that Foxy excavates more consistently was the logic behind it. Like
which I can understand that, because for me, the entire event, Foxy was the best card in my deck outside of, like Raw Drawing Gazelle or something like that. Because, like, Foxy did everything. Like, you summon it, it's starter, it outs every single floodgate, because I swear I ran into every possible floodgate possible that entire event. I ran into summon limits, there can only be ones.
Yeah, both against me.
Yeah, there's I didn't see any Mystic Mine. Altergeist Protocol, being able to get rid of multi-roll, like Foxy did like everything, so that was easily
Foxy was MVP that format. I was just watching, obviously playing against you. It did so much. So yeah, I could get wanting to use that first, because you're not going to use the summon effect very much going first. You can if you discard it off like mining and stuff, but for the most part, that's not going to come up. So if you just straight normal summon it and try to get that extra plus.
But yeah, it's just having that extra card is just like really, really good. Let's see, like in my list, like I kind of stuck with like the mindset, like how I've been talking to Aldo and Blessing about Salamangreat, because they played a lot of it while it was still had like all of its cards and stuff like that. I didn't focus on like saying like Salamangreat Roar and stuff like that being sent to the graveyard and stuff like that. A lot of the times I just wanted to be able to combo, and then the following turn I just wanted to be able to kill my opponent.
Yeah.
So that's.
I'm just going to run through your list real quick for anybody listening. 1 Gazelle, 3 Foxy, 3 Spinny, 1 Jaguar, 1 Falco, 1 Full, 3 Phantasme, 2 Ash, 2 Ogre, 1 Debug, 1 Will, 1 Sanctuary, triple Circle, 3 Signet Mining, 3 Called by the Grave, 3 Twin, 1 Rage, 1 Roar, 3 Impermanence, 2 Strike, 1 Judgment. So that was the main deck. How do you feel like the main deck was overall?
So, honestly, I really liked my main deck. I got the best part about it was I got to play every single game. Like, every single hand was playable, and that's what I like, especially for events like this, because people are unfamiliar with the actual deck strategy and stuff like that. So being at least able to play every single game is huge. I wanted the main deck cards like Called by the Grave and Twin Twister because I thought hand traps are going to be popular, and I thought decks that played back row or floodgate-esque type cards was going to be popular. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty of outs and plenty of ways to play through that. Hand traps, Ogre to me was like, because we were talking about this towards the end of that, like it was either super high impact or it did nothing. So I don't know if I would play Ogre again, but I mean, the times it was really good, like it was insane. But then there's like, I don't know why this card's sitting in my hand.
It's like, especially in the Salad Mirror, like that's when I felt like Ogre just didn't do almost anything, unless they were forced to like hard go into Mirage Stalio first, which I don't know why they would have to do that, because unless you're playing some weird build,
there's not really
like there's never a situation where that would come up.
There's not really a good time in the Salad Mirror to Ogre. Like, okay, so the best case scenario is since, because you notice my deck, right? I'm not playing a bunch of like outside extended for Gazelle card, like for Solomon Great cards. I'm just playing like straight combo cards and stuff like that, and just relying on the engine, right? So I figured a lot of people would have the same mindset as I would, and wouldn't be playing like extra cards in the deck, like Crusadia Reclusia or backup Century or cards like that to be able to keep playing through like minor hand traps. But during the Solomon Great combo, the only thing you can really Ogre, and to me honestly, you can either hit Stalio or you can hit Gazelle. So those are both like really lackluster plays, but when it's your only hand trap, like the 2 Salad Mirrors I played, like I would Ogre the Gazelle when they summoned it and activated the effect Ascend, and then they would just lose outright because they didn't have another way to play after that. So I mean, it had its moments, but it's not powerful in the mirror. It's really good against Striker when they try to go for multi-role play.
Yeah, I mean that was the reason I played it. That was basically the only reason I played it, was that in Pendulum. Like I was actually a little bit afraid of somebody at our locals playing Pendulum, but so your side deck's pretty standard. You did choose to play the only thing that's a little different is he is playing Avermax. He's playing the Fusion for Super Poly on the side, and he's playing the update Jammer Transcode Talker combo, which I know you resolved like every time the first 3 rounds, I think.
And I've resolved that combo infinite time. Oh, does that list still have Avermax in it?
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be there. I played Borload instead of Avermax.
Okay, so it was a Borload. Ignore.
Yeah, I can fix that later. But yeah, I played the transcode combo just because I wanted a way to kill my opponent through a clear field, and I didn't think it was going to come as much as it did. But there's a lot of times like people just, like you just clear their board and you transcode them and they can't do anything. So that combo for me personally was really good. I wanted Borload for the mirror. Like that's the only reason I wanted to play that card, because like I know a lot of people are playing were considering playing Avermax. And Avermax, if you can look at my list, it's a really, really hard card to out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only, like, makeable out you have at that point is Borload. Plus, it also outs opposing Borloads.
Yeah, that's why I played Ningirsu specifically for that card. So your side deck, besides Super Poly, Standard, DD Crow, I thought was super strong in this format. They got Anti-Spell for Pendulum, Striker. Do you play that in the mirror?
It just depended on how I felt. Like when I played the 2 mirrors, I didn't side it in. I had considered Order just because it was like an auto win against a lot of decks, but I didn't do it. But
then you had Sanctum in there, which I feel like was pretty good.
Yeah, Sanctum came in for. Honestly, I played it just really for the mirror, and then I thought it was okay against Striker because like obviously you can play around Scythe with Ray, but being able to lock you into one specific Link monster instead of you being able to do your cycle through him, I thought was really important. So I thought that was an okay choice.
And then evenly, I didn't even know you were playing that. Like, how'd that do?
I sided in every time I went second, but I never saw it, so I never got to resolve it.
Yeah, okay.
But I know a lot of I know like it's a blowout against Striker because like it's not like TCG format where we now have 3 judgments, so like they could just side in judgment and that card's never going to resolve. But in theory, it's just really good. Like your opponent does all this stuff, and then like even Salamangreat great. So like a popular thing that I've noticed when I play mirrors is when you know you're playing a Salamangreat mirror, they don't search Roar, but they search Rage because interrupting 2 monsters on your side of the field before you're able to put Bailings in the graveyard is huge. So like with that knowledge, like you just evenly match them, and then like you just get to play your game for free.
And then the one of Order, which is a blowout. We both know that.
Yeah, it just goes in with anti-spell. So.
All right, so
yeah, 4 drawable.
I sent you my list, right, yesterday? Or I posted it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll get it pulled up real quick.
But I played Sky Striker. It was a going first build because I do have 3 multi-roll. I'm not reliant on just hoping to draw it. 2 Ash, 2 Veiler, 2 Ogre, 3 Ray, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Foolish, 1 Metal Foes Fusion, 2 Pot of Desires, 1 Rhoda, 3 Field Spell, 1 Afterburner, 1 Jamming Waves, 1 Booster, 1 Drones, 2 Shark Cannon, 2 Anchor, 3 Multi-Roll, 1 Equip Spell, 2 Engage, 1 Terraforming, 1 Upstart, 3 Impermanence, and 3 There Can Only Be 1. So
I still think you're an absolute madman for playing Desires.
I mean, it performed extremely well. Like, I would never do it. It would never be the first action I did. Because I was fortunate enough to either always have access to Ray or a way to play. The deck, I never dead drew with the deck like he do in the TCG because just having that extra multi-roll to pop Area 0, like, you need that. But the deck was super fun. Cosmic Cyclone was amazing for forcing back row. Like, I'm not going to talk too much about the Striker, but I just thought the format was super fun. There Can Only Be 1 was good in every single matchup.
Yeah, that card's insane. I honestly believe like I could not have won if I didn't have Foxy to out that card.
Yeah, our game 1, I mean, that slowed you down basically to the point where you just couldn't play.
Yeah, like I
couldn't ended your turn, and then I was just able to resolve so many cards that you were just playing from behind.
Yeah, instead of sitting there like playing for an extra 10 minutes, I'm just like, we're just going to next game.
Yeah.
There's no way.
So I did choose to play Hida, which I know a lot of people are cutting, but I thought it performed well when it was applicable. Ningirsu never came up. Bomber, I liked the idea of it. It just never came up. And then for my side, I did 3 Summon Limit, 3 Crow, Gamma, and Twin. Never saw Gamma, so pretty standard list. Overall, the event was awesome. Both me and Joe walked away with the promos, so that was pretty freaking cool. Shoutouts to Aaron, who got another envelope.
Kept it all in the Discord, and it was broken.
Yeah, so out of 4 of us, out of probably like 30, 40 people, 3 of us got the promos. That was great.
Probably never happen again, but it felt great. It's kind of like when the 5 Kage were up against Madara or Gia. That's how I felt. Now, obviously, we know how that ended, but we won't get into that.
Oh, man. All right, so going into this next format, do you think you'll mess around with Salamangreat, or do you think you'll still stick to Wombo Combo?
I think it'll be like one of those things. Like, I think Thunder's still going to be the deck, like as a pocket deck. You know, You just need to be able to play something else. I think I'm going to actually stick with Salamangreat. I think the deck's really good. I still think it's consistent enough to play. Spitty Foxy's now like the heart and soul at this point because, like I said, you only have one Gazelle, so you can't rely on that all the time.
Yeah, with the rarity upgrades to Foxy, maybe I'll actually play the deck.
We'll see. I kind of hope they reprint them all in like that prismatic secret rarity. That'd be really cool.
I think. I mean, Gazelle deserves it. I don't think he's confirmed yet, but Gazelle deserves it. Foxy definitely deserves it.
We'll see.
But I don't know if I'll commit to Striker. Like one multi-roll is just so bad. Like two engage and two anchor didn't matter. Didn't matter at all. But one multi-roll, like, you just feel it every single game.
That's scary to think about. I don't know if I could put that. I don't know if I could put that much faith behind it.
Yeah, like being reliant. Like, see, Salamangreat's not reliant. Like, you can play without Gazelle. It's not fun, but you can play without Gazelle. Like, Striker cannot play without multi-roll.
You don't have that grind game.
And with one multi-roll, it means you can't play Desires because, I mean, Striker bricks. Like, it bricks all the time. I was just lucky and didn't. So, you want to play Desires, but now you absolutely cannot because unless you open 2 engage and can get Ray and multi-roll out of your deck, you're just screwed.
Looks like you're going to have to move over to Extravagance.
Oh, I thought about that. I thought about playing it for the memes at locals. I almost played the Demise variant, but
we're not going to talk about that.
But I didn't.
Demise Striker, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to cut so many spells to do that, and it's just like it's only good going first. It's just not worth playing.
I believe it.
Man. Okay, that's enough about the Worlds format. It was awesome. If you guys didn't make it to your OTS stores to play the event, I recommend going next year. It was my first time playing in anything like this. Normally, I just stick to locals and miss everything fun because I got other stuff to do. But it was a lot of fun. You got to talk to a lot of people out there, and you get a cool field center too.
Yeah, the field center is actually because last year we got them and they were all that drag. I didn't really like it, but this one I like a lot better.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It's a little Link 5 Dark Magician wannabe
looking type card. Yep. Yeah. It's cool.
Alright, how much time are we at? Alright, so we got like 2 minutes left. Overall, 2019, I thought it was a pretty good format. 2018, 2019. There's a couple complaints because we lost Goki at the start of the year, right? Or like a little bit into the year.
We had to deal with Dark Goki for what seemed like forever.
Yeah, we did. But I mean, Striker's about to die in about 2 months.
Salamangreat's going to get the axing of a lifetime.
Oh, Salad's dead in October. Unplayable.
Over.
Because they have to kill it to sell Marine Cess, and because it's just too good.
Like, remember how Archfiend went to 1 after it won Worlds? Over. Yeah. Just over.
Yeah, so if you are a Salamangreat player, get your time in now because it's just not going to happen after October.
Nope. 0 chance, boys.
Leave. What are the promos going for? Like $400? No, it's like 250, 300.
They're up there.
Yeah, and that's another reason. So, like we were saying earlier, is you get to play for something worth money, and that was the best part about that is not the actual payout, but it's actually getting to play real matches at locals.
Yeah, like it actually it's to me, like, when you're actually playing for something like an actual prize and not just playing, like, the atmosphere change, like, you actually get to see, like, actual competitive play, which is something our locals desperately lacks and stuff like that. So I liked how we actually got an actual competitive aspect for once.
Yeah, I mean, round 1, I still got paired up with Phantasm Spiral. Like, it was still there, but surprisingly, that's more difficult than it sounds because I was playing Valor, Impermanence, and Anchor, which were all dead. And
off
yeah,
the wall.
But he didn't understand the concept of you can't respond to my spell activations. And he was getting very frustrated.
Every locals has to have them, bro. Every local has to have them.
But after that, like I just felt like it didn't feel like a regional, but the way I was playing, like I was actually focused on the game. Like I wasn't like paying attention to anything else. Nobody's trying to trade while you're playing. Like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. End of story. Shout out to Doug who bought in after round 2 and fucked my pairings up. So I almost got screwed on that end, but he fixed it.
Good old sauceless French.
All right, so we're actually at time. Joe, you got any final thoughts?
Like John said, if you haven't ever played in a Worlds format and you're able to do it next year, 100% do it. Rest in peace to Solomon Great. You're not going to make it. Striker was already dead to begin with.
Striker just died last list.
We don't know where Aaron went, but shout outs to him, and Douglas French has no sauce.
All right, guys. So that was episode 23 of X2 Drop. Check us out every Monday. We go live 8 a.m., 10 a.m. on my YouTube, and whenever I get to it on Joe's, apparently.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And yeah, so youtube.com/bingohd and youtube.com/the Duel Factory. But I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Okay, bye.